Stepping in for Mike Willette this morning, who wasn't able to be with us. LD763 is titled An Act to Clarify the Warrant Article Petition Process. Essentially, the intent here is to allow the select persons whose job it is to organize the town meeting, the annual town meeting, to keep the purpose of the town meeting what it was intended to do, which is to set the budget for the town for the year and the taxes. And if somebody wants to bring forth a motion that says we should declare war on Bosnia, it doesn't belong on the town meeting warrant, because the folks who come to town meeting in my town, the town of Buckfield, don't have the authority to declare war on Bosnia. Those folks charged with organizing and carrying out that annual process, the opportunity to do it without being compelled to entertain things that the legislative body is not authorized to do. I'm going to step down and let others answer questions, because this was a bill that was submitted by Representative Willette at the request of the Maine Municipal Association, and I think that Kate Dufour from their staff can answer questions even better than me.
My name is Kate Dufour, and I'm here on behalf of the Maine Municipal Association to provide testimony in favor of LD763. As Representative Hayes alerted you to, this is a bill that was submitted on our behalf. Every even numbered year, the association meets with its legislative policy committee to create its legislative platform for the next couple of years. And this year we voted to include this particular item on the bill and on our legislative platform. And we see it as a housekeeping measure, and I will explain the reason why we find it to be a housekeeping measure. Residents are authorized under law to petition the town to include issues on a warrant or on a referendum ballot. And they have to get 10%, the signatures are based on 10% of the last gubernatorial election, and they collect the signatures and they submit the issue to the municipal officers. The municipal officers then have, as prescribed in law, two choices. They can either put that article or referendum on the next ballot issue, or hold a special election or town meeting to address the issue that's been petitioned. Now, what's implicit in that authority is that the issue that's to be addressed by the legislative body, the town meeting, is actually legally before that town meeting, that they can act on that issue. There are several issues that the legislative body isn't authorized to act on, and we've included a few examples. One example is firing the town manager. According to state statute, that's clearly the authority of the Board of Selectmen to fire the town manager. To engage and negotiate union contracts, for example, that's the authority of the town officers. Another example is to set speed limits on state roads. That's the authority of the state, not the municipality. And so implicit in the state law is the fact that the municipal officers can reasonably refuse to move an issue forward because the legislative body cannot act on the issue. What that causes is a lot of confusion, hurt feelings, and trouble, friction between the municipal officers and the people who are petitioning. But it's been decided by case law, and it's implicit. We would like, this bill would make it explicit. It would explicitly say in the law what is the current practice, which is essentially we will submit any issue to the legislative body, either at a special or a regularly scheduled election, provided that it is clearly in the authority of the legislative body to act. And for this reason, we believe this is merely a housekeeping issue to make it clear to everybody what the current practice is.
My question is whether or not by adding this to the statute, the town could refuse to put that resolution on the schedule, because they could easily say they're not authorized to act on it.
That was not the intent, and we could certainly clarify that language to ensure that a resolution. Our concern is when the petition article or the petition warrant ballot is asking for an action that
which is not legally authorized.
That's correct, for the legislative body to do. So there may be some wordsmithing we could do to address these issues, but our concern is right now, it's implicit in the law that the municipal officers can reasonably refuse. We would like to make it explicit so that everybody understands what we're doing, so it doesn't create these frictions between the local officers and the people who are petitioning.
I'd be interested in what you bring to show the burden that this ambiguity has placed on towns, because
particular incident that occasioned this legislation.
Act on an issue that they can't act on. And we're put in the position of being, I guess, being the no. We're saying, no, we're sorry, we can't petition, you can't petition on this issue because we cannot address it through a legislative action. And so we just want to make sure that everybody understands the rules and just lay them out. It's kind of a sunshine. Here's the law, and this is what it means. If you'd like me for the work session to bring back a few examples of what's happening out there, I'd be happy to do that. Clearly not an effort to dampen down citizens' involvement. We want to keep people involved. That's what local government's all about.
You've certainly done your homework and made a very strong case. Do you see, or would you think, in the proposed legislation, if there was a statement of intent as to, it wasn't intended to limit citizens' right for expression, do you see that as maybe being a change to the bill that would probably satisfy different? And what I just heard you mention, obviously citizen referendum, we have that ability, but absent of law, so that an action wouldn't be contrary to law that didn't exist. You're saying that towns could do that. Well, they can still do that. In this particular proposal, if it isn't counter to a law, they still have that right. So I'm just a little confused. I think we're kind of down on a micro instead of a macro view of what the rights are, but I really appreciate you make a very good point. But on the other side of the coin, couldn't it be said that if the citizenry were bringing forward through a petition process that which they know to be illegal, aren't they kind of quasi requiring the town, if you will, the select board, as in Representative Schatz might say, they would defend this, or they would realize their action would be illegal, so if they continued, they know that the town would incur the cost of litigation. I understand your rights issue, but my question is, without this clarification, aren't we really setting up the local select boards, and I say select boards because that's what my district has in the 3 towns.
An organizer for Save Our Water, and I'm also here today to represent the Maine Water Justice Allies Coalition. This is a coalition of representing thousands of citizens.
Was based on the sort of long-standing practice that property rights are that you own everything you own the property, you own everything under it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is more for the work session. I understand that in some towns have taken the option when the selectmen have refused to incorporate a request into the town meeting or as a warrant to go to a notary, because I think the statutes allow a notary to call and hold a town meeting. And I wanted to know for our work session how often that's happened.
You mentioned what's been going on in York County on the water issues. Had this bill been in place at the time of those activities, what effect would you see?
We hope that you will look into the law, LeMay versus the town of Berwick.
Where everything is going to be much more local, we need to start empowering local communities. So Maine talks a good game about local home rule and all of that. We need to live up to that. This particular bit of legislation alarmed me a lot because I'm in Gray, where the selectmen have repeatedly gone to do illegal things, like the Pennell case comes to mind. Let me read this line. Municipal officers may reasonably refuse to place a petition article based upon, but not limited to, whether it's legal or not.
The 30th of March at 11 o'clock.